Hey everybody, Prowl here, and welcome to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition tutorial. And today in my hand I have a carrot, a beetroot, and potatoes. That is right, we are going to be doing a new kind of crop-based farm today, and it is a new and different type because of the new bee update that was introduced into Minecraft 1.14 for all you Bedrock players out there. And there are some new mechanics for bees that we will be taking full advantage of today, and that is the fact that bees are actually able to bone meal crops, which means we get to make a new type of crop farm today. And the rates of this crop farm are approximately 2.2 times faster than a normal non-bee crop farm of the same size. That's right, 2.2 times faster crop farm for the size given. I've done a lot of testing on this. It is spectacular. Let's go ahead and jump into building it now, because you do build this just a tiny bit different than the other crop farms. Oh, and make sure not to build this anywhere close to somewhere where you have a bunch of extra beds or another village. You'll want to give yourself at least a 96 block gap between any other village. If you put a bed, to sleep in somewhere around, that's fine. But you'll see later, you're not going to want to put this anywhere close to where you're going to have a lot of other beds. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is build this platform right here. What you'll want to do is go 21 blocks across and 21 blocks across. So you'll have a 21 block square, and then you'll go ahead and divide that across the middle, just like I did there, and fill the inside with grass. So your grass squares, if you look at them, should be 9 blocks across by 9 blocks across on each one of them. And then what we're going to do next is we are going to pop a hole in the middle, just like that. Is that the middle? Yeah, that's the middle. And put some water in there, because that is what is going to waterlog our crops. If you are curious about the placement, a waterlogged block or water in general can waterlog or can hydrate land up to 4 blocks in every direction. So that is 4 that way, 4 that way, 4 diagonally. It's 4 blocks in every single direction. So this is going to be, well, first of all, that's not in the right spot at all, is it? This is why I chose this size of a farm, because it's just pretty easy. You just need to have 1 waterlogged block in each section. It doesn't require any extra like crazy math or anything like that. So once you are at this point right here, what you can do is go ahead and just change all of that grass over to farmland. And then once you do that, you can plant whichever crop that you like. Now you'll see in my inventory, I have the 3 different types of crops that work. We have potatoes, beetroot, and carrots. All 3 of these work. The villagers will gather these, and then we will be setting up right here in the middle. You can knock this out now too if you would like to, just like that. The villagers will trade any of those, or try to give any of those to the villager that we put here in the middle. Wheat does not work in the sense that you will get wheat from it. If you put wheat down, your villagers will convert that into bread, and then they will throw the bread. So if you want a bread farm, by all means, use wheat. But if you want to actually get wheat and wheat seeds, you're going to need a different type of farm, which I will make a video for later. And now you should have this right here where you have all of your crops starting to grow. The farmland is being hydrated. And now we are going to work on this little center guy right here. I'm going to just temporarily place down a block to work on like this. And I am going to put a chest right here, because we are going to be putting items in this chest, and we'll go ahead and throw some extra ones down here too, just to have a little bit of storage there. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to actually set up a system here in which we can gather all of our crops That is about right, which means that really based on this, I go ahead and throw in one more pair of chests just to make it make sense. And you'll see that is right in the center. Obviously, you can run the chest wherever you want to. We're just going to keep this thing simple and run them straight like that. So what we're going to do is we are going to throw a block right here for our center villager to actually stand on. Just like that. And then we are going to run some hoppers. Actually, this one right here needs to be a hopper because we're going to run our other hoppers into that. So there's going to be a hopper here, 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 and here, here, and here. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to throw in hopper, these rails on the 4 corners first, and throw in hopper minecarts on each one, just like this, and then hop down here to the center. You may need to put like a slab down or something like this because you want to be able to see these actual rails and you want to hit them. Make sure that you have the rails selected. This is going to keep those hopper minecarts from moving around. There, so knock all those out. And then if you want, go ahead and jump yourself up one more there. Throw down another rail, 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 and rail. And throw in another hopper minecart, 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 minecart. Knock yourself back down. Take out those right there. Doot. Bam, bam, and bam, just like that. And then you could just pillar yourself back up with the hoppers that you need. So like I can do, put that back there, put that back there, and then you could put a solid block right here. Perfect. So this is what you should end up with. You have hopper minecarts all the way around. And then what you're going to do here is actually cover all of those with these guys right here with some half slabs. Just like that. The next thing that you're going to end up doing is actually getting a villager trapped right here on this block right here. Okay. So my suggestion for doing that is to go ahead and just build in like a little trap like this. And then maybe I would probably, if I were you guys, I would minecart them in. So I'd build some minecart tracks, right? Just like this. Where is it? Grab yourself a minecart, right? And then wheel them in from wherever you need to bring them in from. And then just to kind of show you guys, once you have them in there like this, whoops. Once you have them in, just go ahead and wheel them in just like that. And then to trap him, you just want to put a block over his head. He's not going to want to do that because, okay, he's still in the minecart. So block him in all the way like this. Knock that minecart out. And then put a block over his head just like that. He cannot get out now. He's stuck. Okay. So once you get to that point, now you're going to want to start getting in some of your bee stuff. So go ahead and get your hives ready because we're going to use them. I wanted to break in here to let you guys know there's a lot of ways you can help support the channel, but the one easy way that anybody can do to help support me or any other YouTuber is click that subscribe button, click the like button, and drop me a comment down in the comment section below. Those types of things really help one get exposure on YouTube. So please, if you could, do those 3 things for me. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is take your beehives and just go ahead and place them. I like to have 2 facing in each direction just to make it super easy for bees to get in and out of them no matter where they are. And you're going to end up with a total of 8 beehives. Now, for doing your villagers, this part is really, really, really important. If you don't do things this way, these villagers are going to be a huge headache to you. So we actually want to make sure that we have all of our villagers in the area to have to take the right profession, right? So I'm going to put a composter right here. he's the only villager here. He's the first villager that came into this area. So if I put a composter there, if you give him a minute, he'll synchronize up to that composter, and he will synchronize up to that bed. So we're going to let him sit and think about that for a little bit. And while we wait for him, we're going to prep for our bees. There he goes. So what I'm going to have you do, knock out the 5 blocks on the corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do that on all the corners, and knock out these 5 blocks right here, and go across just like this. And do that to all of the corners. And then after you do that, go ahead and take and insert some flowers, because those are going to be for our bees to pollinate everything. Okay, so now you should be at this point right here. We do have our flowers all in. Also, you are likely going to border this thing off in some way, whether it be a fence going around, a wall, inside of a building, underground, whatever. All of that is fine, however you would like to do it. Now, I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to stress it again. You want to do this build somewhere where it's not going to be close to another village, close to other beds, because the way that we're going to do this is actually going to allow all of our villagers to mingle around each other. And if you do this around somewhere where you have empty beds, the villagers are going to breed, okay? Now, if you get 1 or 2 extra villagers, because maybe you have like a bed somewhere to sleep in, it's not really that big of a deal, okay? You can have yourself a bed to sleep in. You'll just end up with an extra villager in here. Whatever, that's fine, okay? What you don't want is to have somewhere where you have, 15, 20 extra beds, because then this thing is going to jam pack with villagers, and it might slow things down as they run into each other, bump into each other, try to trade each other crops, all these different things, okay? So this part's actually easier than my previous farm, because before you would have to kind of synchronize who you put in, when you put them in, where you put them in, all those different things. We don't have to do that as much now. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw in these perfection blocks just like this. And this design is going to be optimal, because what we're trying to do is we want these guys, as they're going around and picking crops and stuff, to somewhat frequently come over here and throw them to this guy. You'll see what's going to happen here in a little bit. They're not always going to do that, but in the long run, it all evens out. So what we'll do is go ahead and throw these in just like this. There and there. And we need beds too. So we have 8 villagers that are going to be in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 8 beds. So we'll go ahead and throw in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Perfect. And now you guys will be bringing in your 8 villagers by whatever means that you would like to. So I'll just go ahead and spawn them in. 1 up. Well, we can't have a nitwit, so let's get rid of this guy. The green ones, they're called nitwits. They cannot take a profession, so you don't want these guys. You can just do this to them and get rid of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There they go. They all took their professions. They all went to their profession blocks. Now, actually, I just thought about this. But remember how I told you that you need to do this 2 high wall around? You actually need to have room for the bees. I like to give the bees enough room to be able to easily fly around. So your wall is actually going to be at this, or your ceiling is going to be at this level. You do not want your bees to just be able to roam free, because they roam kind of far. And if you let them do that, the farm's going to be very, very, very inefficient, because they're going to fly all the way down there and all the way down there, kind of bone mealing everything. So you want these bees to be enclosed in here. Give yourself some type of door to get in and out for maintenance, because if you just poke a hole in the wall thinking that you're going to get in, I can promise you the bees are going to get out. When they sense that freedom, they like to go for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this roof on really quick, and then we'll add the bees in, and then you'll get to see this thing working, and we'll talk a little bit more about the how and why things work the way they work. Okay, so now that you have everything nice and closed in, what you're going to do is add in your bees. Now, my recommendation, even though a hive can hold only 3 bees, I recommend you add in 4 bees per hive. That way you have a few more that are flying around doing the bone meal. So let me add them in, and then we'll talk a little bit about the bone meal mechanics, because it is important to kind of know about this. Otherwise, you can find yourself messing it up if you try to do one of these on your own. So I got 8 hives, so I'm gonna do 32 bees in here. Okay, so I spawned in all the bees. They are getting their nectar from the or their pollen from the flowers, and they are going to the hives. Now, some important things about how the bees work. They are going to get this this pollen. Some of them are going to go straight to their hive. Some of them are going to fly around for a little bit and then go into the hive. And then the hives will slowly kind of fill up because they don't always decide to go in right away. And then the bees will kind of keep swapping in and out. As you can see, there are little white particles, yellowish white particles falling down from the bees. That's the pollen. So what they're actually doing is bone mealing the crops. See, you just saw it happen right there. So they are bone mealing those crops as they fly around, making the crops grow faster. So technically you can make these crops grow a little bit faster if you add in more bees, because that is more bees doing bone meal. I have not personally tested what, say, adding in 8 more bees, so going from 32 to 40 would do, although I can imagine it would help out some. The higher you go, depending on how well your villagers are keeping up with harvesting everything, it may or may not matter, okay? So why do we have the villagers in here like this? So my old design actually puts a wall as a divider and has 1 villager in each cell. That design worked great before we had the bees because 1 villager was able to keep up with 1 cell day and night. Okay. I tested this by adding in a bee, some bees to that single cell. It's too much for a villager to keep up with. So the farm was not any faster because the crops were just waiting to be harvested, basically. So if we go with this design, you have a little what seems like inefficiency, because these guys are going to throw carrots at each other too. But what will happen as well is whenever they do decide to go up and throw carrots to this guy in the middle, which they do, because he doesn't have any carrots, so he's going to want some. They know that he wants some, so they're going to throw it to him. They will throw a lot more at a time at him. So they'll kind of hold on to some for a little bit, and then eventually they'll just kind of unload their whole inventory on him. So it evens out in the long run. Okay, I don't even know. Maybe we even have some carrots down here now. We might not have any yet. I don't know. Yep, we got some. They're coming in really quick. So like I said earlier, I did time this. I did check it. So this farm right here compared to a farm of the exact same size with just a villager in each cell, this is 2.2 times faster. You could probably get it up to 2.5 or 3 times faster with some more bees. Play with that on your own and kind of see what works for you. The reason that we have the hives in here is because I found that if the bees get their nectar from the flowers, their pollen from the flowers, and they don't have a hive to go to, the bone mealing actually stops working. Now, if somebody knows different on that, definitely let me know. But I sat and watched for quite a while, and without the hives, they would just they wouldn't bone meal anything anymore. So I think the hives are necessary, but you do not have to harvest the honey from the hives. It's fine just leaving everything the way it is and letting the honey, or let the honey stay in the hives. It doesn't hurt anything by doing that. Whoa, how did he get out of there? Sometimes the bees do like to ghost through blocks. I have seen this a few times, so I'm not sure. There, look, another one got out. Maybe they're getting through on the corner. Let that be a lesson to you. Bees are still a kind of new mechanic for most of us. How is there a villager down there? Oh, I know what I did. This was my fault. Don't put in a regular door, people. I guess he fell down and just didn't die. That was my mistake. I'll throw in a couple extra bees in there. I have seen some ghost through corners of blocks though, so maybe try not to have like corners in your thing either, just to keep things on the safe side. Also, I thought I turned weather off as well. Apparently I did not prepare very well for this tutorial. There we go. In any event, look, I'm just gonna pop in here, do what I told you guys not to, and bust a hole. Throw in some more bees. And yeah, play with the level of bees. Obviously, on a single player world, really having a lot more bees isn't going to hurt you too much. If you play in a realm, I would probably advise against it, because the more entities you add in, the laggier things can get. But as you can see here, I'm kind of keeping my eye on these guys. You see them throwing carrots at each other. Usually when they do that little head nod to each other and looks like they're like about to fight, that's them throwing carrots at each other. But yeah, this thing is working perfectly. You see here, I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter if we leave the honey in there. They still go in and out. They still drop off their pollen, so it doesn't hurt anything. And yeah, so that's how to do the farm. I'll make one for the wheat farms a little bit later. The wheat farm you can use for wheat and beetroot. Again, remember, this one works for carrots, potatoes, and beetroot. But I hope you guys enjoy this. This is the fastest you can get a crop farm in Minecraft now, thanks to the bee update. So this thing is quite amazing. I love it. I hope you guys do too. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitch as well. I do stream quite frequently. Join me on Discord and on Twitter. I am very active on those. And consider becoming a patron, and you get cool benefits like being able to play in my survival realm, my minigame realm, and other awesome things as well. And this has been great. Love you guys so much. You are amazing. See you later. I'm breaking glass now. Goodbye.